Welcome, and thank you for joining us. If you would please put your palms together for a meditation reading. How rare and wondrous it is to have been born into human life, and now I live it. How rare and wondrous it is to be able to listen to the Buddha Dharma, and now I am able to hear it. I rely on the Buddha. May I, along with all sentient beings, awaken to the great path with my entire being and discover the highest aspiration, which is to become a Buddha. I rely on the Dharma. May I, along with all sentient beings, deeply reflect on the meaning of the sutras and gain wisdom that is deep and vast as the ocean. I rely on the Sangha. May I, along with all sentient beings, become one Sangha of life, able to move forward and live with a dynamic spirit that is hindered by nothing. The unsurpassed, deep and wondrous Dharma, even in millions of kalpas, is extremely difficult to encounter. But now I am able to experience and embrace it. If you would please join me in Gasho. Namo Amidas, Namo Amidas, Namo Amidas, Namadas, Namadas. We are born, we celebrate their birthdays. So what a rare and wondrous time that is for us, even though we stop counting our age after 30. But as the three treasures says, it's rare and wondrous, and how true it is, that we're able to live this life. And we have now the ability to hear the Buddha Dharma. How rare and wondrous that is. But sometimes we tend to not listen. And we tend not to, we don't like to rely on others. But there are times where we have to turn towards the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And the Sangha is just a community of fellow Nembutsu practitioners. And sometimes we have to look for directions and guidance from all three. It's not just one. Because without the Buddha, we wouldn't have the Dharma. And without the Dharma, we would not have a Sangha who hear the Dharma. So all three come into play when it comes to living life and hearing. And sometimes we get clogged in our mind and we don't know which way to turn. That's when we turn to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Sangha changes all the time. Some come and some quit coming, and some quit listening. But you know, the Dharma and the Buddha never changes. It's the same as for our Namo Amitabutsu. No changes. You know, and to really look at the three treasures, it's something that embodies all of us. Because no matter if you come just one time for services, it still, at that time, at that present moment, makes you part of a Sangha. And hopefully when you leave, that feeling of fellowship, that feeling of the Dharma and the feeling of Nembutsu and the Buddha is always with us. You know, and like I said, we change all the time. We change our minds, we change our style of living. We try to change ourselves. But change comes with other problems. Problems, not even problems, but maybe different circumstances. You know, we can try to be nice and kind all the time. We can think, we can always have a good thought. But does that really work? Do we always have a good thought? You know, growing up, I felt, and growing up, I realized that my poor mother was very burdened with her child, me. I was always out, just a nosy child, I guess you would say. And she would try to use kind words to me about straying from home and not telling her where I was. But, you know, there were not a lot of kind words. Of course, I was not a kind child. So that, you know, and to have a good thought, she hoped and she wished and she had ideas and thoughts that I would one day grow up to be a good child. Well, I hope I achieved some of that. I'm not saying I'm always good, and I'm not saying I'm always pure at heart. But hopefully there's understanding. And I know there's an understanding of the compassion and wisdom of the Buddha to accept me just as I am. And knowing that I'm not a perfect being, the Buddha is always there. And the Dharma is there when I want to truly hear it. And I can always turn to the Sangha to give me that direction to come back onto the path. So I rely on the Buddha. I rely on the Dharma to teach me. The Buddha, knowing the Buddha surrounds me at all times, calls to me. And I know there are members, there are people who will lead me back to where I'm supposed to be. And it's my willingness to listen to them. So yes, it is hard sometimes to listen to the Dharma. And it is difficult to listen to the Sangha. Because we all have our own thinking. We have our own mind. And we are going to say, no one is going to change me. But is that what they're asking me to do? Is that what they're asking you to do? To change? No. The only person that can ask you to change is yourself. The individual. And that's when we do rely on the Dharma to give us that little hint of how we can change. Subtle changes, little changes that we may not even notice within ourselves. But change is good. Change is difficult. And that's where it says, life is rare and wondrous, but it's also difficult. An older version of the three treasures is, hard is it to live, to be born into human life, but now I live it. And it is, because we are going to no matter how mature we get, we're always going to hit a bump in the road. And it is difficult when we do hit that bump in the road because there's sorrow and there's suffering. Yet, we turn to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. We turn to the other teachings of the Golden Chain, of the six Paramitas, and we turn to the understanding of what Namu Amida Butsu is for us. Each person may find meaning of Namu Amida Butsu to fit their life. And that's fine. Because no matter what, Namu Amida Butsu is for everyone. Acceptance of everyone. No matter who you are, what you are, how you think, how you dress. It's always just putting our palms together in Namu Amida Butsu. So, impermanence is our life. Yet, Nembutsu, Sangha, and Sangha can be temporary also, because it changes over time. But the Dharma and the Buddha is always the same for us. So, no matter if we hit the bump in the road, we turn to the Buddha and we turn to the Dharma and we give our thanks and gratitude and our appreciation for the words. And it's up to us to think, hear, and to find our solutions to those little bumps. Our reliance is on the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So if you would please put your palms together in Gasho. Namu Amida Butsu, 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 Namu Amida Butsu. Remember, like, share, subscribe, so that we're able to spread the Dharma to others who want to learn, to think, to hear. Thank you so much.